Hey family, it's Tasha, MAMABEAR Prepping. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. You already know what time it is, baby. Get your drink, pull up. Let's talk about it. We're going to talk about something that is happening right now. Shortages, a little bit of panic, some panic buying, some folks that are freaking out. We're not particularly freaking out because obviously we have enough of these products. However, there is two products, wheat and rice, which are at the forefront of the topic of shortages and bans and exporting and importing, and what this looks like for us for the future. So for those of us that prepare, that are not out right now, buying rice, like crazy, this video is for us. I mean, obviously, if you don't have those things, you are stockpiling, you have holes to fill. Obviously, if you do not have wheat berries, various products that carry wheat that you and your family eat, if you're not stockpiled up on those, if you're not stockpiled up on rice, I would obviously probably go out and do that. Do not be, hoarding, meaning going and buying 1,000, pounds of rice, whatever right now, because you can, right? But this is the whole point of preparedness, is so that we do not freak out. To be honest, when the reports first came out about the Russia and not letting Ukraine let their wheat out of the country, yada, 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 wasn't that surprised about it. I mean, we were worried about wheat probably 2 years ago is when we really got concerned about wheat, right? And before that, we had already been preserving wheat products, flours, all the different things, right? Pastas, whatever, right? That this could affect, and we've been stockpiling. So it wasn't that big of an issue. And then recently, when there was this big push about they're not going to let, Ukraine export anything out anymore, right? There was a little bit of panic about wheat. This was just over the last couple weeks. And then most recent days, it's the whole India ban, where they're saying they're not going to let out their basmati rices out. So what that means for us is that's really not that, I guess you could say, devastating for us. It is a kind of a blow for the entire world as a whole, and anybody obviously that is getting rice from India. I mean, you should be concerned. The top exporters of wheat, for example, is China. Then I think it goes India, and then it goes Russia. Russia's third. We're fourth. So we make stuff. Rice, it's China, India, and I think Indonesia or somewhere, right? And so there's different, or Bangladesh, there's something like that, right? But we produce our own rice here in this country, right? Obviously, we're not the top three, but we're okay, right? We're not going to starve. And the rice, we actually do import about 20-25% of our rice. However, it is that fancy aromatic rices, which are not part of the ban from India. So is this going to hurt us? Possibly not as bad as people are making it out to be. Is this to be something to be concerned of? Yes, because what I want you to get from this video is that these wars, if you will, between nations, nations against nations, kingdoms against kingdoms, and those of you that follow Christ know exactly what I'm talking about, that is going to continue to happen, right? That is our future. And you're going to, as you have famine hit this different parts of the world, and as you have shortages and all these different things, you're going to, and inflation, right? We're not the only country dealing with inflation. As these things happen, you're going to see countries shut their doors and just shudder and say, hey, we make a certain thing, we make a certain product, certain food, whatever, and we're going to shutter the doors as far as letting that go and exporting that out, and we're going to keep it for ourselves because we are worried about maintaining a certain amount of stuff in our own country, right? And maybe it's to balance some money things, right? They had a real fancy answer of why they were doing what they were doing, but at the end of the day, what it means is any country, to include us, that closes an export and says we're no longer going to do something is hurtful to whoever was getting a piece of that, okay? And although a lot of people will say number-wise, oh, well, it's very small, numbers, it's still something to be watching, to be concerned about, and to continue to use to press you to stockpile and to be ready and to prepare, right? And so these things are high value exports, imports, if you will, right? Rice is huge, wheat is huge, coffee is huge. It's up there with gas and petrol and those types of resources, right? It's super, super important, and it's in high value, highly used type of product, right? And so it's important when you have countries that produce this stuff. My more concern was that China is the top producer of both of those items right now, right? And then India, right? And you know, that should be concerning to you. Another high value item that they kind of are in charge of or have a lot of, right, monopolize, is medicines, right? China and India, right? So this is something to be concerned that if you have these countries that start to shut down these doors on certain things, that they won't shut the doors later. Or even worse, if we get in some sort of conflict with them, you know the doors are shuttering and we're not going to get stuff. So at the end of the day, do we make our own products? Yes. Do we make a lot of stuff in country? Yes. Are we going to be okay? Yes. The stuff that's banned is not even the stuff that we actually import to this country, right? And so we're going to be okay. But you should take pause. You should take concern, especially if you don't have this stuff in your stockpile. Get stockpiled, because this is the thing. When something happens, it's too late because the panic is already set in. All types of videos on different social media platforms of people panicking in these big box stores, buying rice, fighting each other over rice and stuff. And it's just like, are you kidding me, right? Like, this stuff is there all the time. You could be budgeting and just getting this stuff little by little, not having to buy a bunch of it at one time, right? And be smart about this and make it work for your budget and whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? So get it together, baby. Don't be out there on them streets being all panicky, okay? That's the whole point of what we're trying to not do over here. And know that this is not the end. You're going to continue to hear these things, and you're going to continue to see at some point countries closing down stuff. And we're going to have nation against nation, and that's going to be their resources, their food, their water, whatever it is they produce in their country, their precious metals, their gas, their petrol, their whatever that they own. One day we're going to be fighting, and people are going to be saying, no, you can't have any of our stuff. And they're going to be literally fighting to keep what is theirs, okay? And that goes even deeper, right? You say nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. I mean, that could be something as simple as town against town, states against states, right? In-house later, when we talk about down the road of you having to, you know, protect what's yours, right? So just take that food for thought, if you will, but pay attention right now. Wheat's real hot, you know, rice is real hot, but it's always something, right? It's always something. These just happen to be very, very big ticket items that obviously are very, very important. They're important to survival. You have whole cultures that survive off of rice, you guys. And so rice is such a versatile, I mean, we have a ton of it. We love rice. We love rice in this family. And so, and there's just 1,000 ways that you can make it. So it's a very, very valuable preparedness item, if you will. Okay. Asset. It's an asset. All right. So you guys be well. Let me know your thoughts on this video, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye.